I'm Tim Briggs, and I started Collision Edge to help my customers stop doing that. This week there was a post that went out, and that's hot. This week there was a post that went out about material profit. And guys, I can tell you, there's a lot of people in this industry that are a lot smarter about a lot of things than I am. One of the things that I have spent a long time doing is understanding material profitability. So this week the post went out that says if your guy meaning your distributor or whoever it is helping you, uses a percentage of sales to calculate your material purchases to see if they're in line or not, you need to find a new guy. It's a very strong statement. But today I want to just unpack a little bit why I say that. Because I continue to see these industry experts and big people saying, you know, your expense to sales ratio needs to be a certain percentage of your gross sales. And today we're going to talk about why that's kind of a failed metric. We're also going to talk about maybe why some of those people, do that. So first off, we need to unpack how shops make money on paint material. And I don't know if anybody out there knows, or maybe we haven't thought about it in a little while, but shops sell materials. They don't sell them based on the total sales of the job. If they did, that percentage we're talking about would be phenomenal, right? So if my job was $10,000 and I used $1,000, that's a 10% usage ratio to my gross sales. While that number is very easy to come up with, it's not the best number. So here's why. So what happens over time if you're not selling materials based on your gross sales? Are you really paying attention to the right things? So how do shops sell paint materials typically? Now I'm not going to say this is the right way to do it, but typically shops are selling paint materials. The industry standard is a dollar amount per refinish hour sold. So you sell a refinish hour, and that refinish hour gets you some number, and it's a really widely varying number, which is another mystery I can't figure out. Anywhere from, I've seen as low as 24, 22, all the way up to 40 or $50 an hour across the industry. So if you're selling a refinish hour, then it makes sense that using the refinish hour in your calculation is a lot better metric than using your paint purchases to your gross sales. Most of the time people use that paint purchase as a gross sales because they easily know how much they spent and they know how much they sold. They don't know all these other things like, I don't know how many refinish hours I sold, because nobody keeps up with it. I'm going to tell you guys, you really should do that. And today there's not an excuse not to. You look at Collision Hub's new production hub system. Real easy to plug your number is, real easy to get real reporting out of that thing to show how many refinish hours you did. So the interesting thing is that shops don't think. They have a door rate that says I charge $50 an hour for materials or $30 an hour for materials or whatever that is. At the end of the month, if you look at your material sales and you divide that by the number of refinish hours, if the world's perfect, you should be getting that door rate, that, let's just say $30. At the end of the month, if you sold $30,000 in materials and you had 1,000 paint hours, then that's $30 an hour. What I found through my studies, though, is shops never, ever usually hit their door rate. Sometimes you'll see a guy go over his door rate, but never by more than $1 or so, and that's because he's selling other things and classifying them as materials. Most of the time, the shops come up short. So if you take your total material sales and divide it by your paint hours, that number is a very important number to you. And that kind of denotes usage. Same thing with material sales. So material sales come off your estimate. Your number of paint hours times your whatever you charge is your material sale. Take that material sale and divide it by your refinish hours, and then you'll see a different number. That number is what you're selling in material. So basically there's two sides to any sales equation. What do I pay for it? And what do I sell it for? No different than if you buy a part. What do I pay for the part? And what do I sell it for? The difference in those two things is your margin. So in this instance, the cost per refinish hour and the sale per refinish hour is a lot better metric to use than a percentage of the total sales. Now, why do you think people like to use that percentage of total sales? Outside of the fact it's an easy metric to get at, right? But the other metric is, the average RO continues to climb. And if I use a metric like what's your percentage of sales, then my average paint purchases are going to continue to climb. Now, what I got to ask you is does it cost you any more to paint a car, let's say a Maserati fender versus a Toyota fender? Those are very different animals when you go to buy them, right? But on the estimate for the Maserati, your RO is going to be a lot bigger, and the estimate for your Toyota, your RO is going to be smaller, and I use the same amount of paint. Now, can you see how the percentage of sales would go down on a job that has, say, a lot of high-end parts? I'll be the first to tell you that I've not always understood this the best I could. I walked into a shop one time that was I think it was a Mercedes-Benz place, right? And I asked him, "Oh, sir, what is your material sales?" And I did some little quick math, and I found out he was 8% of his total sales was material sales. And I quickly pointed out to him that, well, you have an opportunity to write a better estimate, which is probably true. But what you got to understand is that when I'm fixing a Mercedes, I have high-end parts, which makes my total sales balloon. Which, if I use the same materials on a Mercedes versus a Hyundai or whatever that is, that percentage is going to be very different. So I sat there and I told that man that day, and this has been a long time ago, that he needed to work on writing a better estimate. When in fact, the reason his percentages were off to the industry was because he is in the more premium end, has a bigger RO. So same thing with material purchases. That shop that, let's just say that the month that, I don't know, you have $1 million worth of hail claims come in, and we know all those now are all PDR. All of a sudden I'm looking at my material purchases and I get all excited because my material purchases normally are 6% of my sales. Now they're 3% of my sales, and I'm just all happy and excited about that when you didn't really do anything, right? Your gross sales were grown by your sublet, and from that, it made my material purchases look smaller. So the only reason I'm saying this today is because, Collision Edge, we make some cool stuff. You guys have seen the tape thing, you've seen the dent viewer, the estimating tools, those tools that help get you paid. The only reason why I'm saying this today is because I want my customers, and if you're not my customer today, I hope you'll be my customer tomorrow. I want you guys to be able to really understand your numbers and not just take a number for granted. It's easy as a paint rep to walk out there and go, well, yeah, your expenses should be 6% of your total sales. And if they're not, start pointing fingers. Well, I'm just here to tell you there are two sides to the equation, and you can't eat percentages, you eat dollars. So if I sell $30 an hour and my cost is $15 an hour, then my gross profit is 50%, just for round numbers, right? Lot better metric. Now, if either one of those numbers is off or wrong, let's say the sale number's off, then we need to look at, some estimating. We need to look at, some of the discounts you're giving to some of the insurance companies. If that smaller number is wrong, let's say the $15 an hour, my cost per hour is off, then why is it off? That's something we can help you with. So reach out to me, and I've got some great insights and some great industry knowledge about the whole material profit piece. So I hope you guys got something out of this today. I just wanted you to see, and it's very, very important to me that you guys understand what's important and be able to track it. And at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that you improve that much every day. Just that much every day. If you can do that, you're going to be so far ahead of the game, it's not going to be funny. So anyway, if you like this, give us a follow at Collision Edge on Facebook, at Collision Edge on Instagram. We're actually on YouTube. This will be on YouTube. So check it out and share this with your friends. We'd love to help you. DM me on any platform you want to. I'd love to hook you up with some resources that would help you understand your material profit better than you ever have before, and we have that capability. So anyway, check us out, www.collisionedge.com, and if you need a tape thing, we're here to sell them to you. Thank you.